Raider Nation, what's going on? It's mailbag time here on the Raiders Report. My name is Mitchell Renz. You're watching the Raiders Report, and every single Thursday, I go live for Thursday Night Football. Before we do that, though, we do a mailbag. So every single question is from that mailbag, and if you do not know, we are going live 1 hour before kickoff. Technically, an hour, 5 minutes before kickoff. We got 2 1-4 football teams. I hope that you tune in, because the Raiders will not ruin my Sunday. And if you have a show up, we're going to show out on the Raiders Report. And even if they do struggle, we're still going to have fun no matter what. And that's going to be my promise to you. Let's go to Memo Ramirez, put in Pickett, and see what happens in trade for Woolen. Kai Blue Kelly is getting long cooked every game. I mean, I don't disagree with that. We got to replace Kai Blue Kelly. He's given up the most receiving yards to the cornerback position, or at the cornerback position this season. He's allowed 346 yards. The next closest guy is Riley Moss from the Denver Broncos at 262. But to me, I've kind of said, at this point, I don't mind the idea of you putting in Kenny Pickett, because when you watch the tape, there's a lot of really bad throws that Geno's making. He might not be man enough to admit it, but he's missed a lot of really wide open throws. And I expect more from our quarterback. At the same time, though, I've kind of said that I don't think Chip is going to make a change. I know Pete's not going to make a change, and they're going to keep rolling him out there. I would say the absolute earliest that you would see the Raiders make a change at quarterback, I think, is either Week 9 after your bye week or Week 11. And the reason why I don't say Week 10 is because Week 10 is Thursday Night Football. It's a short week, so you probably wouldn't make a change there at quarterback. Let's go to Call Me Daddy. Who is the first coach to get fired? I mean, with a name like this, get a pick. I'll keep going with the name. I put out a video earlier in the week, and Chugs and I actually, before we decided to go live on Thursday, we filmed another show, which you guys will see out over the weekend if you haven't already seen it. But I said the first coach that I think that ends up getting fired is Raiders special teams coach Tom McMahon. The Raiders this season are ranked dead last in just way too many special teams. Just way too many special team statistics. We're bottom 3 in missed tackles. We are dead last in field position, both as a returning team and where our opposing team sets up. A lot of penalties. We're really bad in EPA. We're really bad in DVOA, historically bad in those two metrics. So I don't think they're going to fire PG. I don't think they're going to fire Chip Kelly. I don't think they're going to fire Pete Carroll. So who do? You got to find a fall guy. If you lose to the Tennessee Titans, personally, I think it's got to be somebody. So this is going to be the pinned comment here on today's show. You're about to get it with the YouTube ad break. Scroll on down and let me know who's the very first coach to get fired on the Raiders. If it's not Tom McMahon, I'm going to guess the next name that is probably the most likely that we're going to see is Brennan Carroll. I don't think the Raiders make any coaching changes outside of Tom McMahon. But I also think that if the Raiders lose to Tennessee, that quite frankly, anything's possible. When I say anything, nothing's going to happen to Pete, nothing's going to happen to Chip, nothing's going to happen to PG. Let's go to Rebel. What up, Rebel? The fan base is so split between tanking and winning. Firing this coach, trade this player. How can you address this to unite the fans? I mean, I don't know if there's anything really that I can do besides say, hey, we're going to have a lot of fun here on the Raiders Report. And it's the truth, because the problem is it's what Pete Carroll told us all year. Pete Carroll made us think that this is going to be a team that wins. Pete said this is going to be a team that does a lot of winning. If Pete would have been honest with us and said, hey, we're trying to rebuild, I think what's scary is, if this team was actually trying to win and we look this bad, is that really a coach that you kind of want to do a rebuild with? I don't know if any of y'all have seen the interview with Marshawn Lynch, but, Marshawn Lynch was basically like, I don't think that Pete Carroll's ever going to be able to do it again. And when you hear a Pete guy saying that type of stuff, it's very, very eye-popping, and it makes you wonder, what direction this team is going in. And that's the hard part. That's why the fan base is against each other, because nobody knows what the direction is. And that's really, really frustrating. If you're a real one, hit that subscribe button. If you're a real one, I know that I can rely on you, that you're going to be there on Raiders game day up against the Tennessee Titans. And in the future, if you ever want to shout out on this show, we do this thing called Noti Gang, that if you are one of the very first people that are subscribed, that are down in the comments section, and you take pride in being here early on a video, we do give shout-outs to the Noti Gang. We're going to be doing that next week, so keep your eyes out. Let's go to Nav Man. Can't wait to see Travis Swift's old lady live. Something don't smell right with SpyTech and the coaching staff. Feel like we aren't getting the real picture at all, nor have we from the jump. Thoughts? I mean, again, like to me, what I was told that SpyTech would do and what the Raiders have done, it's almost the complete opposite. So I do wonder, is SpyTech taking a backseat to Pete, or what I was told was that just a lie? And I don't mean to call SpyTech a liar, and I'm not saying SpyTech told me something directly, but I would say at this point, I think I've been able to prove that I have some good sources here that have some good information. But I don't know what you're going to think of this outfit, Nabman. It is an interesting outfit. And if you don't know what Nabman's talking about, he was the MVP of last Thursday night, and I had to dress up as Taylor Swift. And if you don't know what I mean, tune in Thursday night. Let's go to Pardo. So frustrating to watch this staff not use players we just acquired for no apparent reason. Mostert, Besh, etc. When we give these guys opportunities, they should show good signs. Why not use them? I don't know what this coaching staff is doing because, again, the amount of times I watch what this staff does, I started saying it a few weeks ago, and it's kind of gotten popular now, I just don't know if this staff knows its players all that well. And, Mostert, Besh, again, Besh you drafted, it's a little different. Mostert, he didn't want to play special teams, so, there's that whole issue there. But I'm looking right now at this coaching staff wondering what direction are we going in? Are we trending in the right direction? To me, though, I want to see more of our younger players get more of those opportunities. And, what frustrates me is, think about the whole Jermaine Pratt situation. The whole Jermaine Pratt situation, you could have traded Pratt. There were multiple teams interested in Pratt. And if it got that bad between the Raiders, then you could have just put him on the open market, and a team would have given you a 7th-round pick for him. Instead, he goes, no, we're just going to cut you out right, and he ends up landing on the Indianapolis Colts the very next day. I don't understand what this team is doing. They're acting like their head's too big, their ego's too big, and everything that they do is right, and everything else everybody else says is wrong. You can hear it in the press conferences. You can hear the frustration in players and coaches' voices. But guess what? We're just as frustrated because there's a lot of words and not a lot of action. Before we get into more questions here on today's mailbag, if you don't know, today's show sponsored by PrizePicks. Get 50 when you play 5. And if you're looking for that link, it's going to be down in the comments and in the description of today's show. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. PrizePicks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Join millions of users and sign up for America's #1 fantasy sports app. Follow other PrizePicks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like, hit that follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on PrizePicks. So if you want to roll with my lineup, download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Let's go to my man Suave. Problem is not hearing what the end result will be. I think the problem is I just don't believe anything that this staff says. So when they go up and they talk at the podium about, oh, this is what we need to fix, this is what we're doing, we're just falling in that Josh McDaniels trap again, where it's like, I want to believe in you, and this entire fan base wants to believe in you. But until you show me something that gives me, until you show me that it's worth believing in, I don't know how the hell you expect me to do it, because right now, I feel like Pete Carroll and all these coaches are asking us to believe in Santa Claus. I want to believe in Santa Claus, but you got to be able to show me that he's real, because what you're selling me right now, I'm not believing it. Let's go to Josh. What's up, dude? What up, Mitch? Been seeing a lot of rumors about trading Maxx. Yeah, I've had a lot of my 49ers guys tell me about it. I mean, I'll be honest with y'all. I know for a fact that at least one NFL team has called the Raiders about a Maxx Crosby trade. I don't know which team that is. I was just told by my source that there has been at least one team to do it, no doubt about it. But Maxx is one of the best players in the NFL. The Raiders are 1-4, right? We're clearly not trending in the right direction. If you lose to the Tennessee Titans, anything's possible. When the Raiders restructured Max's contract, they made it easy for them to be able to move on if they wanted to do it. And as much as I love Mad Max, if you're the Raiders and you go rebuild, who's the number one player that's going to be able to get you the most number one picks? The name is Maxx Crosby, and I want him to finish his career with the Raiders. He wants to finish his career with the Raiders, and that's very, very evident to me. But also at the same time, he wants to win, and he's frustrated right now. But we're all frustrated right now. Let's go to Cali Lovin. What we get for Jakobi if we traded him. I mean, there's a lot of Maxx Crosby trade rumors. If there's one player that right now, like to me, the only way Jakobi Meyers doesn't get traded is if the Raiders beat the Titans and they beat the Chiefs. Because I think if they lose one of those games, I'm serious. I think if they lose one of those games, I don't really know how the hell you make the argument to keep Jakobi Meyers then. Now, maybe you're able to get a third-round pick. Now, obviously, you can hold on to him. Maybe hits the open market. You're still able to get like a third or a fourth-round comp pick for him. But I would say right now third to a fourth. I would anticipate a fourth, but maybe a team like, I don't know, the Giants wouldn't do it. They're just the team that popped in my mind because that's Thursday night. But think of a team like, all right, that's trying to compete for a Super Bowl, lost a wide receiver, and now they need to go out and add one. The Bills could be an interesting team, in all honesty. I think Buffalo would actually be a very, very interesting team for Jakobi Meyers. Honestly, the San Francisco 49ers would be a good team for Jakobi. Let's go to Giuseppe. What's up, man? Do you think our offense would be better if Brock Bowers wasn't injured? Of course I do. I think that Geno would be better. I think Chip Kelly would be better. I think Genti would be better. I think everything would be better because when you lose Bowers, you lose your offense. And what do I mean by that? Like, you got to switch everything up. Because Bowers, when healthy, is able to do just so many different things out there on the football field, when you don't have that, let's face it, like, think about how big of a deal it would be for this defense to lose Maxx Crosby. I think you can make an argument losing Brock Bowers on offense is almost just as big of a loss because of everything that he's able to do and open up an offense. And, there has been a part of me where we've been very tough on Chip. We've been very tough on Geno. Could that have been the only game that he was healthy was that week 1 game against New England when by far our team looked the best? And is that how important Brock Bowers is to this offense? I mean, you have to at least wonder it because he hasn't been healthy since week 1. Let's go to my man from Deutschland, Stuttgart. Your confidence level for Sunday against the Titans, mine is a 5. I guess mine has to be a 6 because I do expect the Raiders to beat the Titans. The Raiders are a better football team than the Tennessee Titans. But that also means this. If you lose to them, oh my God, get the circus music ready because it's going to be bad. Let's go to Eric Knows Ball. You're next up here on the show. Thoughts on Jamin Davis. So what's kind of funny about this, the Raiders signed him to the practice squad on Wednesday, and I think he's also kind of a part of the plan to replace Jermaine Pratt. The Raiders also went out, they signed John Radigan, who's more of just a special teams player. I actually liked Davis a lot when he was first coming out of college. I think he was a former first-round pick, went to Kentucky, very, very athletic football player. I would compare him, like right now, if you're a Raiders fan, you're like, all right, Mitch, what's the most Raider comparison you can give me for Jamin Davis? I'm going to say Amari Burney, and it's only because good athlete, but doesn't really know what he's supposed to be doing on a football field. Maybe they can teach him up. Maybe they can coach him up. And who knows? Maybe live up to some of that first-round hype. Let's go to Justine Gonzalez. Compete is now. Come on, Pete. Pause. I mean, this is Justine. Yikes. You're not wrong, though, because what is the compete mentality? Like, the compete mentality to me at the beginning of the year was you going out there, you giving 110%, and you doing commitment to excellence. Unfortunately, now, I don't think that that's what compete means. I don't know what compete means because I thought compete meant, to compete for your position, that everybody's got to go out there and they got to compete for that job. That's not the case with this regime. The regime is if you're a Pete Carroll guy, you're going to get extra leadway. If you're not a Pete Carroll guy, well, then you got to go out and you got to compete. But that's why we're saying, come on, Pete. If you don't know the Week 6 matchup, again, it is Titans against the Las Vegas Raiders. Both teams 1-4. The Titans just won their first game last week with a huge comeback win over the Arizona Cardinals. For the Raiders, 4-game slide. got to get the momentum back on our side. And what's the craziest thing I'm going to say? I've been telling myself all week, the Raiders aren't going to ruin my Sunday. The Raiders aren't going to ruin my Sunday. I also know this. If the Raiders can find a way to win, and then if you're able to find a way to win against Kansas City, holy shit, man. I just might be back, baby.